So why don't Rockstar use real car brands? And no, it's not because of cost. Well, partly. Firstly, ignore all of that stuff in the background, that'll make sense a lot later on in the video. So over the years we've seen many different cool cars in the Grand Theft Auto games, but none of them have been branded cars in terms of we haven't seen real Ferraris,
A Ferrari,
real Lamborghinis, real BMWs, real Mercedes, real Ford. We haven't seen any of these real car brands, but why? Now the go-to thing on Reddit and any other platform is to say it's just down to the cost, when it's not. The cost is a very small factor, and we'll cover that off first. So yes, cost is a factor. These car companies charge varying prices to have their models of their cars featured in games. Some of these prices may be as high as tens of millions of dollars. Some companies would do it for free for the promotion, but even if it was like $5 million, Rockstar can afford that. So why don't they do it? So this is where we get to the real reasons why Rockstar don't actually have real car brands in the game. The first reason is that most car brands will say no. A lot of people are compared to it to Midnight Club or games like Need for Speed, for example, or games like Forza. But those games aren't the same context as Grand Theft Auto. If a company like Ford allowed Rockstar to have their Mustang, for example, in the game, and someone decided to pick up a lady of the night in the Mustang and then decide to unalive them to get their money back after, we've all done it in Grand Theft Auto, don't even lie. That doesn't look good on Ford. A lot of things that happen in Grand Theft Auto have been directly or indirectly linked with some atrocities that happen. A prime example of this is something that happened in the early 2000s, and that negative association with Rockstar games is bad for a brand, and not necessarily bad with the customer base. People won't stop buying their cars, but investors will stop investing in these big large manufacturers if there are too many negative connotations around that brand. Then we also have to consider the fact that one brand could say no and another brand could say yes, so we could end up with the sorts of cars we see in Grand Theft Auto skewed quite massively because a load of brands said no. So we'd end up with an imbalance in the different sorts of cars we'd see in the game, which would absolutely ruin the variation that we currently have in the Grand Theft Auto series with all the different makes and models of cars. Alongside that, it's not just cars, there's planes, there's bikes, there's all sorts of different vehicles, and for Rockstar to go and scan 750 plus vehicles would just be an unnecessary expense when they can model them all from scratch internally with their own development team. Another point to consider is that Rockstar is so commercially successful that any car featured in a Grand Theft Auto game would be getting absolutely insane exposure for essentially free. Why would Rockstar pay a company to then go and promote their product? Rockstar sell more copies of GTA than a lot of these manufacturers do cars, so to be giving all these companies the promotion whilst paying the companies for this promotion doesn't make any sense at all. There's so many different levels to this to why it's not commercially viable for Rockstar to do it, but hopefully that little segment there wraps that up. The next thing is modification. So we know in Grand Theft Auto modifying your car is a big part of the game. Well, some companies don't like their cars being modified, and they don't like their cars being modified publicly. A prime example of this is Ferrari. A lot of racing games actually don't have Ferraris in them, and the ones that do have really specialist deals with Ferrari that only allow limited modifications to be done to the cars within the game. Having real car brands in the game will completely limit what we can do to the cars in the game. A topic like this you can't minimize down to something very simplistic as, well, I just want to change the wheels of my car, when some car manufacturers don't publicly support that. In fact, companies like Ferrari have publicly sued people for modifying their Ferraris. Deadmau5 is an example of that, and I know a few people that have been sent cease and desist letters after their cars have gone for a service at Ferrari and been told to remove the modifications from their car. When you purchase a Ferrari, you're essentially renting the license to use the car for a certain period of time. There's a lot of nuances to it, but interesting fact for those people that didn't know. The next reason is the universes. Rockstar have different universes in their game. So in the Rockstar game series, there's so many different universes, and Jetro did a full video explaining this in more detail. But essentially, Rockstar games isn't supposed to be based in real life. It's supposed to be a mockery of real life. It's not supposed to be a one-to-one. And having these car brands and these other brands like drink brands and stuff that mock reality is part of the fun, and it's part of the world that Rockstar have tried to make. There aren't any brands in real life that are quite as funny as Rockstar's branding. I mean, apart from this one's pretty funny. Really tasty drink. Not sponsored by them, by the way. Yet. Your boy's working on it. But who I am sponsored by is Venom. So as you can see in the background of this video, there's a whole green screen setup, and that's because I've been filming a little advert for Venom. For those that don't know, Venom sponsor the channel and they make gaming accessories. They essentially make a lot of stuff for PlayStation and Xbox, but they also do stuff for like Nintendo and also one or two little PC pieces as well. So we've got headphones, we've got Meta Quest 3 stuff, but over there is a microphone. Now, the biggest question I've been getting recently is, what microphone is this? And you may notice that I don't like to talk about it. And the reason why I don't like to talk about what microphone this is because it doesn't sound as good as I sound right now. With this microphone, I'm having to run a compressor, an EQ, a noise gate, and the only way that I can really do these videos properly with this microphone is because I have a 3-year diploma in audio engineering. That's not very friendly for beginner gamers to use, but the Venom microphone, as well as having loads of built-in effects and controls built into it, out the box it just works brilliantly. In the future I will be switching over to that microphone, but obviously now I'm just filming the product so I can't use it while filming it. This microphone is the best microphone for beginners. It has all the controls built into the microphone, has a really cool LED that changes colour, and it's also extremely cost effective. But yeah, a massive thank you to Venom, and if you are looking for a beginner microphone, definitely go and check this out and use code CYBERBOY for free shipping. That's only for the UK, but if you're based overseas, all you've got to do is Google the product, and there's so many different third-party sellers that sell it overseas, so you'll definitely find it. Right, back to the video. And one of the final reasons that we don't see real car brands in GTA 6 is that manufacturers want the exact performance specs, dimensions, interiors, and everything fully modelled. This includes things like recording real audio from the cars. A prime example of this is Toyota. They actually invite games developers overseas to drive their cars, to get a feel for their cars, to 3D scan the cars, and a lot of work goes into getting a real model into a game. For Forza Horizon 5, they had to capture all of the audio from many different cars to make sure that it was one-to-one with the sound of the vehicles. Now this wasn't necessarily due to manufacturer specifications, this was just to, well, make a good game, but some manufacturers are very uptight about this sort of stuff. And there's also so much red tape around specifications, like the cars have to have the exact width center console, they have to have the pedals in the right position. There's so much stuff that would just make developing cars for Rockstar games so much harder. Now I spoke about this on a live stream a long time ago, it's probably about 6 months ago now, and one of the biggest pieces of pushback I got was people saying, well, if the modding community can do it, why can't Rockstar? And the core reason is mainly down to this red tape. Yes, Rockstar could do it, but they would also get sued into oblivion, especially by companies like Ferrari. As it stands at the moment, Rockstar Games are treading in very murky waters with what they can get away with the car designs. It's very obvious that a lot of the cars in the game are clearly taken from real life inspirations of similar models of vehicles, and if they push that button too much, they will probably end up getting sued. So hopefully that helps you all understand why car manufacturers don't allow their real cars to be used in the game. Thank you all for watching today's video, and a massive thank you to all my channel members, and of course a massive thank you to Venom for sponsoring the channel. If you've got any thoughts or questions, make sure you drop a comment, and I'll see you all in the next video. Spin the cylinder, push